Tuning out of starlight, the innocent lifetime flickers and flashes under a canvas. No, nobody seems worth it, while the feeling's sophisticated. The view is so restrained. The past is nearing closer and closer, I fear.
Hello, I am Max from Test Drive Blogs, and today we're going to be doing the other video I mentioned at the end of the tour video for the 2007 Jeep Liberty Limited. We're going to do kind of a review, kind of driving impressions kind of video, because I just want to get this all over with, because this thing isn't going to be around for very much longer. So yeah, I have the heat on because I was just outside for 45 minutes filming the tour for this, as well as the you may have seen some glamour shots, I guess they're called. I mean, like, whatever. But I got myself a new mount, so if this is also a lot sturdier than other driving videos, then yeah. But yeah, this is the 2007 Jeep Liberty Limited 3.7 liter 4x4, all that kind of good stuff. Made a few videos of it a long time ago on my channel, probably 2 to 3 years ago. Well, I know it was at least 2 to, I just flashed my bright lights. I made a tour of it like 3 years ago, and then I made a few test drive videos about 2 years ago, and I haven't really done much since then because I never really had the need to. And I apologize for the sunlight because it is like 3:45 p.m. and this is right about when, go this way, right about when it starts to get really, you know, sunny, I guess is the right word. So how does this thing drive? It's nothing incredibly special, to me at least, because, I don't know, there's a lot of things that don't feel incredibly special to me anymore after doing what I do for work and driving as many cars as I've driven. But it's not bad. It's an automatic, nothing special there. If you haven't seen the tour video, then you should probably watch. I'll leave a link in the description, and probably at the end of this video too. But yeah, it's an automatic 3-speed with overdrive, which I know people are going to call me out for that because they always do. It's got about twice the power as my Ford Ranger does. I think it's like 210 or 235. I think it's 210. Something else was 235. 235 horsepower. Of course, like I said, a 4-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, all that kind of good stuff. It does have traction control, which is interesting. Well, it does. I don't know if it's an option or if it actually came standard on these. I don't know if this was too new to where it came standard or if it was the option, like I said. But other than that, like, the visibility is not great at all. Like, well, it's, if you look to the right it is, but if you look to the left it isn't. I'm used to my truck, or the Jeep Wrangler, which I drove daily before the Ranger. Excuse me, we are going. Which were and are a lot better than this. Turn. It handles decently. It's not anything special, of course, because it's an SUV. Hello, please. It's smooth though. It's definitely a lot smoother than my Ranger. Like, you don't feel the bumps as much. Like, it's my Ranger, I'd be like, ah, and you'd probably be seeing it on the camera really good too. But on this, it's like, it's fairly smooth. Not the smoothest I've ever driven, but it's fairly smooth. And brakes work really good, of course. A lot better than my Rangers. Does have ABS, which is interesting, because this was the first vehicle I ever drove that had ABS, and it was just kind of weird at first. And yeah, so there's a Firebird formula right there. Huh, that's interesting. Like a 99, 98, something like that. Anyways, this Jeep, I've driven it maybe, hey, there's like a Smoky Bandit car. Look at that. Actually, I have a video of a Firebird like one of those. Oh, I had sequential brake lights. I think they're custom too. I get distracted easily, and that's 2 Firebirds in a row that I've just like gotten completely distracted by. But I've only driven this Jeep maybe 10 times since we got it in 2007, which it was to replace a Dodge Dakota, which was a very interesting truck because it was a 4-door, 2-wheel drive V8 Dakota. and we called it like the parts bin truck because it was just kind of what was left. I guess they just kind of stuck it together and said, here's a truck, here you go. So we had that, and then we got this because that had like a bunch of miles on it. It was only 2-wheel drive, and we had issues with it in the snow because of being a V8 and a very low slung truck, being a 2-wheel drive. But we had that, and then this we got in November of 2007 when it was brand new. And I didn't realize we were stopping this fast. Good brakes. Oh, hey, there's that Firebird back behind us. So yeah, we got this November 23rd, I think, 2007, which means it's been 7 years, well, 8 years minus 2 days of having this around my house. It has 78,047 miles on it. So it's not a lot compared to how old it is. Like, you usually see cars like this. Well, apparently I was looking up, and the average miles driven per, like, I think it was per person in the US is about 15,000 miles a year. And this would have a lot more than the miles it has now. If it was 15,000, it doesn't even have 10,000 per year, but we haven't driven it much in the last year because my mom got a Mustang. As you may remember, I posted a little short video of it a while ago, and I haven't done anything since. Just look up my mom's new car or something like that on my channel, and you'll be able to find it. And so this hasn't been driven very much. Like I said, in the tour, it's been, I think, 2 to 3 months since it's really been driven at all. So a few things are unhappy. The battery was a little low when we first got in it, or when I first got in it. And the check engine light is on for some reason. And so we got this, and it was my mom's daily driver for however many years, 7 years or whatever. And it was a lot better than the Dakota, obviously, because it's 4-wheel drive. Even though it's a V6 instead of the V8, the Dakota had a 4.7 liter V8, which made like, I think, like 230 horsepower, and this makes 210 out of a liter less V6. So it's not that bad of a downgrade. One thing about this Jeep, I actually put the window down just a little bit. One thing about it is that it's probably got a moped. It's probably got the best V6 engine note I've heard in person. I don't know why or how, but it's like one of my favorites. Okay, look at it. Okay. The one thing that I don't like, so hopefully you can hear that a little bit at least. Let's put this window back up. Making a phone call or text. One of the few things I don't really like about this thing, I mean, besides like the visibility and whatnot, the transmission is it works and it hasn't went out or anything, but if I were to hit it, it shifts in like 3rd gear, and when it could shift into 2nd and have more time. Or on the other hand, sometimes it will I can't actually see anything, when you hit the gas, it'll shift down to like 2nd gear, and it'll be at the red line for a good 10 seconds before it realizes, oh, it should shift up. So the transmission it's not the smartest piece of technology I've ever seen, which is why I would prefer to have a stick shift as a road trip and a daily driver and whatnot. That's an old Bronco, like a 70-ish Bronco. Someone else has seen one of those on the road. Actually, I have one where I work. I'm not gonna get over it yet because it would be illegal going over the white line. Okay, I'm gonna get over now. So yeah, the transmission is not the greatest at all. That's one of the few reasons I don't really like driving this that much. Just because, well, especially since I've gotten used to, of course, my stick shift truck. It's I think it was hey, I saw that car earlier. It's what is that? A Fiat, or yeah, I think it's a Fiat, like a 72 Fiat Roadster, or whatever they call them. So there's the transmission, and then there's one more thing that just annoys the crap out of me about this car, this Jeep, is that there is a delay between when you hit the throttle and when the car actually decides to do something. Also, I'm getting more text messages. And I can't see anything. Here, like that. There we go, now I can kind of see it. I have to put my hand up here so I can actually see it. Yeah, there's a throttle delay, like, I don't know, maybe a half a second to a second of delay between when you hit the gas and when it actually starts to go. Other than that, I don't mind actually anything else about this thing. Power steering is power steering. It's a little heavy, heavier than my truck, but it's still obviously power steering, and it doesn't take that much effort to actually to turn. We talked about the brakes, of course. One thing I really liked about it is that it has well, at least before I had my truck, is that it has green backlit gauges, which is one of my, it's probably my favorite. I don't know, I like the red ones in Pontiacs. Red backlit gauges are probably my favorite, but green is also really cool. Blue I'm not that big on, but this then had green backlit gauges, which is pretty cool. The speedometer is a little off. We've decided that it's about, when you're going 65, it shows you're going about 72. And then it's more of a, it's like a multiple kind of thing. It's not actually like, oh, you're always going to be going 5 miles per hour less or whatever. It's just based on how fast you're going, it gets like a percentage off. So anyways, this video has been about, I've been recording this for about 13.5 minutes. My camera's probably gonna stop recording soon. So I'm gonna end this off here. So thank you guys for watching this driving review thing of this Jeep Liberty. Be sure to check out the tour, link in the description below, and it will also be at the end of this video on an annotation if you want to watch it that way. And I'm out of here. See ya!